Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be making glass coasters, and the theme of these coasters is going to be leaves of Florida. So I've looked up some leaves, made some designs, and we're going to be using one pane of glass that is clear and cutting it into 9 parts. All of these 9 coasters are going to be the same, and we're also going to be cutting out some opaque glass. Here are the dimensions of these coasters. There will be 9 coasters total, and each coaster base will be 4 inches by 4 inches, and there will be 2 pieces for each coaster that are 4 by a ½ inch, and 2 pieces for each coaster that are 3 by a ½ inch. If that seems like a lot to remember, just save this video and write down those dimensions, and bring your ruler to class so that you can measure out all the dimensions of your opaque glass that will be used as the frame for your transparent glass. Always remember to bring a permanent marker and borrow some of our other tools if you need to with gloves. Both alcohol and glue should be provided by you, and we can lend you some little toothpicks and a piece of tile if you need it. So first we're going to go ahead and cut all of the tiles and all of the little coaster pieces for the frame around each tile. And this piece will only take up the space of one piece of cardboard. So I've gone ahead and cut all of my pieces. You can see them here, and next we're going to clean them with our alcohol all around the edges. Now that I've cleaned all my pieces, I've glued down all of my tiles a little bit of space apart from each other with a little dot of glue. So next I'm going to clean all of my opaque pieces of glass with the alcohol as well and start assembling them onto my coasters. So on each coaster you will have 2 sides that have the 4-inch pieces and 2 sides that have the 3-inch pieces. So now I've attached all of the opaque edges of my coasters with a little bit of glue, and now I'm going to fire them to a lacy. Now that I've lacied my pieces, I have glued them back down onto my piece of paper again, and I'm going to use glass line to trace out all the shapes of my leaves. You don't have to use leaves for this project, but if you'd like to, just let me know, and I'll give you my piece of paper so you can copy them down. When it comes to using the glass line, you definitely want to have a lighter hand than I did. As you can see here with my Q-tip, I got really gloppy and gloopy with a lot of this and ultimately ended up cleaning a lot of this off and just starting again with some parts. Don't be afraid to start over if you need to. Just use your alcohol on a little bit of your Q-tip and smudge it right off. If you get all of it off, then you don't have to worry about it leaving residue on your glass. Now this part I actually should have done before I put my pieces in for a lacy firing, because now I have to lacy fire them again. So if you're doing this project, please remember to do all of your drawing along with your assemblage of your frames and put it all in together for a lacy firing, rather than what I did, which was separate them into 2 firings for no good reason. So now I am going to be decorating the rest of my leaves, and I'm going to be putting fine frit on the inside of my drawing and writing down the very scientific name of each leaf in gold underneath. So I have my fine frit here, shows some different colors. You're also going to want your aloe. Once again, you're going to need a toothpick, and you'll want to buy these items for yourself. One of them is a drawing implement tool, and the other is gold leaf from Duncan. Here I am applying the aloe to one section of the leaf that I want to be a different color than the rest, and I'm going to apply the frit directly to that spot as best as I can. Now you can use any kind of tool here at the studio as long as you wear your gloves, including the tweezers and the sifting tool, but the best thing to do is really just kind of shake some of that frit onto the surface itself and brush away any of the excess with your tweezers. Now I'm scraping the little flyaways back into their place with the tweezers, and I really have to say that to get a consistent line and a clean design, you should really use some sort of little sharp tool to push your frit back into where it needs to be. Otherwise, you'll have little specks flying off everywhere. One tip is that you want to use a blunt, small-tipped object like a toothpick to go back over your black lines to clear it of any frit so that you can actually see those lines after the tack firing. Now, skipping ahead, you can see that I've applied the other colors around that leaf stem, which are a mix of greens and blues, and I'm going to begin applying the gold leaf to my tile. So use my little toothpick to put some of that gold leaf within the drawing implement, and as we zoom in here, you will see that by only just touching the surface with my drawing implement, the gold begins to spread. So now my pieces are fresh out of the tack firing. I love them. They look multidimensional, they look fun, and that raised fine frit that is tack fused onto the surface will provide some good grip for any cups that I decide to actually put on these coasters, because as beautiful as they are also functional. And now the last step to complete your coasters is to add some cork. Cut a piece of cork from a wine glass into little half circles, or you can use a sheet of cork like a civilized human to place under the corners of each coaster. This keeps the condensation away from the tabletop and also keeps your coaster in place, because you don't want to put your cup down and then have it go sliding off of the surface that you put it on. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have fun, get creative, choose different elements for your coasters, and we will see you next week.